Hello Mandela, let's get ourselves working on CAD Basics number 4 here, it looks like. I'm going to try to get this thing rolling and talk about the fourth drawing in the AutoCAD section. This is the basics. These are actually going to get you a basic level of achievement in what you're doing with the CAD 1 credit. It should be good fun. Anyways, here we are back in Autodesk Web, and I believe I have a picture of the drawing on screen here. This is number 4. Now, this one's very unique. This is actually the first time I've done one kind of this style, and looking at it now, I'm realizing that it's missing a few of the notes about what tools we're supposed to use on this one. So I'm going to walk through those, and when you look at this drawing, it might be updated with some new tools on it. With that being said, what we're going to do on this drawing is we're going to use the offset tool quite heavily. We're also going to use the mirror command, as well as using the polar array command again, just like we did in the last one. So let's start. Let's work our way through all of these. Obviously, we got our demos here. I'm actually going to go into the CAD Basics 03, and I'm going to draw this one in the same model space as 03. That way I don't have to set up new layers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to start it just in an arbitrary spot. Oops, I put it in the hidden layer. Let's do the draw layer. Okay, now some of you may be looking at me going, but wait, you didn't start this at 0, 0. Well, guess what? There's no coordinate points on this drawing. This drawing is completely referenced by itself, which means that where this goes, not terribly important. Now let's walk our way through this drawing. Now that we've got the start, we know where we're getting going here. I'm going to ignore these little 6 dots in the corners here, and I'm going to deal with the central geometry first. And I'm going to realize that when I'm looking at it that I kind of know how big the center rectangle is, and I can see from all of the dimensions that it's more or less centered, but I can also see a pattern here. This rectangle here has a second rectangle in it that's 1.5 units in every direction. I got actually 4 of them here. And then this rectangle here's another 1.5 inwards. So we're going to be super resourceful. When you hear the term resourceful, that means we're going to be as efficient as possible, and the cynic might say we're going to be lazy here because we're going to use the offset tool. Now, offset is a really cool tool. It's actually used to create another line, object, shape, usually parallel with the current object or shape, either inside or outside of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on my rectangle. I'm going to click a point, okay, oops, and I'm going to drag inside here. Now you can see that I can actually create another square, and I can choose an offset distance. That offset distance is the space in between that square, and that kind of makes sense. I mean, if I want to make a picture frame that's exactly 0.5 inches away from the first one, it's a really good way to do it. But in this case, what we want to do is go inside by 1.5. So we're going to type that in. And that's going to give us our first drawing, our first piece here. And our second drawing is another 1.5. And when we get to this point, this is probably a good time to confirm that you've got everything right. So I'm just going to throw some dimensions on this and see what we've got. From this corner to this corner should be 1.5. Indeed it is. Okay, from this corner to this corner, from this piece to this piece here, this should be 1.5. It is. And I bet you if we look at everything that's in this drawing, we're going to find a lot of 1.5s in this one. And that's all good. There. Ooh. I'm getting 1.34. Okay, what happened there? That is super interesting. Let's take another measure of this and see if I just clicked on the wrong spot, which does happen occasionally. All right. 1.3434. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look. This is why you always check your work before you go much further. Looks like I may have drawn this one wrong. So let's just delete it. I'm going to start it over again, and we're going to try another offset and see what happens. I apologize for that. It doesn't happen every day. Okay, 1.5. Press enter. That looks a little smaller. Let's try it again. Okay, check the corners. There to there. 1.5. Cool. And then we go back down to there to there. That's another 1.5. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's about where it needs to be. So let's draw the rest of this geometry. Let's walk our way through and see what else we've put on this drawing, because I'm sure there's some stuff here. Okay, inside the 1.5, we can see that we've got 2 circles, and they are centered on the center of the rectangle. We can see that because it's I've given you the width measurement and the height measurement. Okay, and we've got these at a diameter of 4.5 and a radius of 1.75. And a little bit of math for us tells us that that's a diameter of 3.5. We'll work with diameters here, and let's throw some circles on this thing. Okay, and again, this is just testing your ability to use the trim command. Oops, I'm in the dimension layer. I should be in the draw layer. Let's fix that. And let's click here. And let's go with radius. Oh, it's giving me radius. It's 1.75. Cool. And then we get another radius here of, I believe this should be, you know what? I'm given a diameter. I'm going to click the diameter button, and I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to do the diameter of 4.5 like it says. Okay. Now this point, this is actually where it's really easy. This actually becomes a bit of a trim job where we just simply go and cut away the lines that we don't need here, here, and here, and you're going to notice that it, oh hey, it did keep my dimensions. In AutoCAD Desktop, it probably would have screwed up that dimension at the bottom. Regardless, it's not in a really good place anymore. I probably would delete it at this point. But right there, with a few trims, we've actually finished the middle of this drawing. Super simple. Super accurate, but still super simple. The next thing we have to do on this drawing is we have to negotiate around these little patterns in the corner. And we're given some actual measurements for these down here. Gonna see if I can magnifying glass myself in. Sort of can. Okay. We can actually see some of these. We can see that we've got a gap of 0.75 from the top corner of this rectangle. That would also be 0.75 up from the bottom. It's another middle piece. Okay. We know that we've got a diameter of 0.3 on each of these circles, and that the circles themselves are at a 60-degree angle. And again, I'm realizing there's a slight error in this one because I haven't actually given you the distance from the center to the circle. Now, I'm going to update this drawing so that it shows that when you get to it, but I'm for the moment just going to save my work. I'm going to pop over to the actual drawing folder here, and we're trying to save. I'm going to go actually fix that right now because I apologize badly for that one. We're going to go to our CAD Basics, Web 04, the one we're working on right now, and I'm going to go edit a couple of points in here. Views, model, life is good. Let's zoom in here and admit that we made a slight error on this one and go and fix said error. Let's do this. 3.750. I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to move my 0.75 out of the way here so it doesn't overlap, and life is good. Okay, 0.3750. I'm going to save this now, and we're going to head back over. I'm actually going to duplicate this window. And it's going to make me log in again. All right, so be it. We're going to go back to our examples, and we're going to actually finish this thing, okay? Not 01. Cancel 03. There we go. Okay, and this is actually 04, as we talked about earlier, but now we know what we need to do to draw these things. And I'm going to start with some lines in the dimensioning layer, just so I know what to draw from. So I'm going to go down from the top corner here. I'm going to go 0.75. Okay. And then I am going to draw another line straight up here. And hey, 0.375 is actually the midpoint of that line. Isn't that convenient? I may have meant that and may not have specified it. I'm going to draw the very first circle here. I'm going to draw it at 0.3 as it was in the drawing. Okay, that clearly gave me a radius of 0.3. I wanted a diameter of 0.3. Let's change it in the properties menu. And now what I'm going to do is exactly what we did in the last activity. I'm going to array this as a polar array. And this one's nice and easy because the default for polar array is 6 objects. So you're going to get your 6 objects right off the hop like that. Okay, now we're pretty close here. We're very close to having this drawing done and ready to dimension. This is nice because this object here actually comes as a single piece and you can move it around very easily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a new command called mirror. And the mirror command is really simple because the mirror command is going to let me specify a line. So to specify my line, I'm going to actually select the center of the drawing and I'm going to draw a line straight down. And that's going to create a mirror object of the first object across that mirror line. The bottom here it says, do you want to erase the source object? No, I don't. I actually want to keep both of them because, you know, it was a copy. It wasn't a move. I'm now going to mirror this one more time by selecting both of those at the bottom. And I'm going to mirror this across the middle. I'm going to press no. And there is our drawing ready to be dimensioned, ready to go. And at that point, I think that you have all the skills for it. With that being said, this is the end of the basic level of the CAD 1 credit. Just some CAD basics to get you familiar with how this program works. We're going to be going to some more advanced stuff here in the very near future. With that being said, good luck with the CAD. And if you're doing this on Hub, you know to ask on the discussion forum. If you're doing this in class with the web app, you know to ask the question of your teacher. Cheers and happy CADing.